Welcome to my second reaction on sports lockdown. Today, we'll be focusing on cricket. You can see I'm wearing my South African ODI shirt. Big cricket fan, and we'll be looking at a few things that have happened over the last week or so. Most recent news is that the Sri Lankan tour has been postponed. We'll get a little more into that for obvious reasons. Graeme Smith has been confirmed as Director of Cricket, and he still doesn't quite know who's going to be the Test captain. So let's hope we go to the West Indies later this year and that the lockdown ends as soon as possible. I am using Zoom for the first time, so I can jump back between screens. So bear with me as I utilize this technology. Let's just get on to the articles. South Africa's limited overs tour of Sri Lanka, which was scheduled for the first half of June, has been postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The teams were set to play 3 ODIs and 3 T20 internationals, with results from the former counting towards the points in the ICC's new one-day league. Graeme Smith, CSA's Director of Cricket, had also earlier indicated that players would need 6 weeks of preparation time before embarking on a tour, given the ongoing global lockdown. So that's really the issue. Even if lockdowns end, there's a lot of prep time needed to get back into form, to get back into a state of fitness to be able to go on tours. So often, us as fans, we want them to start playing immediately, but the players actually do need to be fit before they go on tour. South Africa's next assignment is a 2-test, 5 T20 international tour to West Indies in July, August. A decision on that tour is expected mid-May. This series would have been a particularly important tour for us, with the 3 ODIs counting for the new ICC One-Day League and the T20 program being part of our prep for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup scheduled for Australia later this year, Fall said. It is very frustrating for the players who want to build on the good form they showed at the back end of our home summer against Australia. Unfortunately, no cricket's in the near future. Us cricket fans, us sport fans are literally dying at the moment without the sport that we were always used to. So getting on to Graeme Smith's confirmation as Director of Cricket, I don't think it was too much of a shock that he has signed a long-term contract. It is only 2 years, but let's get into the details. This article by D.o.C, South Africa's correspondent for Crick Info, of course, the previous article as you saw. Also credit to Crick Info for that. Graeme Smith has been appointed South Africa's Director of Cricket for a 2-year period ending on March 31st, 2022. Smith was appointed in an interim capacity in December last year. Just a note, I haven't read these articles specifically. It's been difficult to stay away because generally when a article comes through on Crick Info, especially if it's about South Africa, I jump on it straight away. But I wanted to react to these articles with some honesty and without any preconceived ideas. During a time of crisis at CSA, and was due to take a break to commentate on the IPL, which has been suspended. With that tournament now postponed indefinitely, he has been confirmed in the role. Well, personally, I'm extremely happy about this. Either way, we needed some stability, and I do hope that the disciplinary hearing takes place extremely quickly so decisions can be made in terms of the CEO. Now, I know there was some criticism in terms of Graeme Smith's experience at that level, but we need to understand the role of CEO and Director of Cricket handle 2 completely different things. Graeme Smith, as we all know, highly experienced Test cricketer. He understands the game intimately and also from a leadership point of view. Now, Jacques Fall, or whoever will be CEO, is handling the day-to-day running of the organization in terms of staffing behind the scenes, the finances, the sponsorships, etc. Graeme doesn't have to worry about that. He must concentrate on performance on the field in terms of the coaches that are appointed, the backroom staff, appointment of captains, and I'm sure he'll be involved in selection of squads to some degree, or at least be advising people. He obviously has a very good relationship with Mark Boucher. They played together for most of their careers. So I think it's a great appointment. If it wasn't him, then who would it be? Because nobody really has the experience he has in terms of the global game. So there was criticism, but you know what? That has quietened down of late. He is committed to transformation. He's committed to developing the game. You know, you've got to give him a chance. I'm just wondering why he hasn't gone to or signed a contract until 2023. Who made that decision? Was it Graeme? Was it Jacques Fall? Was it CSA in general? You would think it would make sense to build up to the next World Cup, just like Boucher has been given a contract until that time. So interesting decision, but I'm sure there are reasons behind it. The dip in performances, South Africa have not won a test series in a year, raised serious questions about the talent pool, and Smith acknowledged he was taken aback by how much work needs to be done on the field. Initially, it surprised me how much coaching had to take place at a national level, he said. I feel our players need access to really smart coaches and smart people to develop their games and their thinking around playing at the highest level. For us on a national level, really trying to understand who the players we have to work with are. How do we get them better, and what do we need to do to get back on top? To that end, South Africa developed a winter training program which has been put on hold amid the coronavirus pandemic, which has enforced a 5-week lockdown in the country. However, 47 players have been identified to form part of the high performance program, and they have been sent fitness regimes to maintain even during lockdown. Smith is in communication with all those players and has opened up a communication channel that had been blocked off under the previous administration. Nothing would be better than winning the T20 World Cup. So I say turn over every stone you can in terms of that. Let's hope things in terms of lockdowns get finalized and sorted out pretty soon, because there are a few players that probably need to make decisions, like AB de Villiers. I don't quite know what Imran Tahir's situation is, but as far as I know, he was going to be available for the T20 World Cup. Both would be great, but Imran Tahir has shown over the last 5 or 6 years that he's the best short format spinner. So I don't care how old the guy is, he needs to play if he's available. So let's just hear what Graeme has to say. This interview courtesy of Telford Vice.
A new test captain, maybe coming near the top of your list. Where's that situation? I think the one definitive answer that I can give you, Telford, is that it's not going to be Quinton.
Interesting.
I can't tell you who it's going to be. We're in a debate over it and a strategy, I guess. I'll be honest, there's no one person that really you can pinpoint right now and say that's the guy. I mean, there's still a lot of players that are vying for selection, and I think, you know, it's kind of the challenge that we sit at the moment. There's a lot of players on a similar level, and I guess the challenge for the next period when we do play some cricket is to see who escalates themselves, into really consistent performers, steps out, and I guess really we've got to understand the personalities. We've got to look at the people, maybe take a risk on someone potentially and back them.
Like you.
Try and understand who's
back
got
in the day.
some credibility within the environment from a leadership perspective and a respect. Coming from a person who a risk was taken on, it is something that we would certainly consider. But I guess a whole lot of considerations. But I think the one thing that I can confirm is that Quinton will be our white ball captain, and he won't be the test captain going forward.
Well, interesting. Let's just read the article by D.o.C regarding this. Quinton de Kock will not be named South Africa's test captain, even though there is no clear candidate for the position. That was confirmed by Graeme Smith, who said the risk of overburdening de Kock, and I thought that might be it, has resulted in ruling him out of leadership role in all 3 formats. De Kock was appointed as the country's white ball captain in January and succeeded Faf du Plessis, who had been in charge since 2017. Du Plessis also stood down from the test captaincy, but remains available as a player. With SA not scheduled to play any tests before a tour to West Indies in July, August, they have some time before deciding who will lead them in whites, but are certain it will not be the Kock. From a workload and mental capacity, we felt that to burden him with all three formats wouldn't be beneficial for us. And with the style of personality and player that he is, we want to keep him as expressive as possible, Smith said. But if not the Kock, then who? Well, that is the question. With the retirements of Vernon Philander, Hashim Amla, De Villiers, Dale Steyn from Red Bull Cricket, Imran Tahir from ODIs, but not T20s, well, that's confirmed then, and JP Duminy in the last year, South Africa has lost a significant part of their senior core. The 2019-20 summer saw them field a total of 33 players across formats and hand out 9 new test caps. Of those standout performers included Rassie van der Dussen and Anrich Nortje, with the former being mentioned as a potential test captain. I was thinking about that the other day, that Rassie might be a possibility, given his ability to deal with pressure and a relatively consistent run. He was South Africa's second highest run scorer in the 2019 World Cup behind D.o.C and 4th highest in the test summer after de Kock, Dean Elgar and D.o.C, and has stood out, which is what Smith is looking for. Smith had played just 8 tests and was 22 years old when he took over from Sean Pollock and went on to captain for 109 tests for over 11 years. His own success could prompt South Africa. I still maintain he retired too soon. He should have maybe given up the test captaincy and continued playing for a few years, because we were bare in the cupboard in terms of openers at that point, and we jumped between a number of openers, and it wasn't great for our cricket. His form wasn't great, but honestly, there wasn't anyone else knocking on the door, as I said. So I still think that he would have come back into form at some point, and maybe taking the captaincy off him would have been a good thing. But hindsight's an exact science. His own success could prompt South Africa to look for someone who is less secure of his spot in the team than a potential captain might be, which could put Temba Bavuma or Aiden Markram into the frame. Both those guys are struggling in terms of form. Man, to put that added pressure on them, I don't know if that's a great idea. Bavuma has experienced captaining the Lions franchise, who have won the first-class title for the past 2 seasons, but was dropped from the test side this summer and then recalled after a career best score of 180, and has massive public support. Well, that massive public support are probably people that don't look at it as average, because honestly, it's about as average as top-line test batsmen can be. Markram, on the other hand, led the South African under-19 side to the 2014 Age Group World Cup title and had been touted as the future senior men's skipper. He spent most of the summer on the sidelines with a fractured finger, but scored 200s and 6 domestic limited overs matches on his return and is likely to get his test spot back. Well, Peter Malan is the man in the frame. He didn't do too much wrong. Maybe there's space for Markram down the order. I mean, we all know that there are spots available, so that could be a possibility. Cricket South Africa have not put a timeline on when they will announce the new test captain, but with the country on lockdown until the end of April and cricket unlikely to resume for several months, they are in no hurry to hand out the captaincy armband. That's probably a good thing, but they're going to have to make a decision probably before much cricket has been played. I don't know. It really is a tough one. If I was pushed for a decision, I'd go Rassie van der Dussen. I think that he has shown amazing consistency across all 3 formats. He seems to have a level head on his shoulders. He can open it up when he needs to. He can play grinding cricket when he needs to. And in terms of a player who's got experience and has performed, there isn't really anyone else. And I think if Markram and Bavuma are going to play, they need to be given time to get back into form. It's as simple as that. And maybe down the line, because Rassie's a little older than Temba, down the line, maybe you can look at that. But, Markram's still young. He's got plenty of time on his side. What are your thoughts on the articles I read? Give me ideas. Please put things in the comment section. Please subscribe. Click that notification bell, and I'll be back with you as soon as the internet and my kids allow. Cheers for now.